It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, abortion abracadabra. While the news that the Supreme Court will soon abolish the right to abortion is shocking and horrifying in itself, it is actually about a lot more in the long run. In the 1950s and 60s, the Warren Court started getting serious about the Bill of Rights. They sided with individual freedoms in numerous instances, including obscenity cases, search and seizure cases, birth control, interracial marriage, the famous police Miranda warning, you know, you have the right to remain silent. That comes from this period. Delving deeply into these ideas, into the meaning of these first 10 amendments, made it pretty clear that one of the major philosophical concepts uniting the Bill of Rights is the notion of individual privacy vis-a-vis the state. That's the legal context in which Roe v. Wade was decided by a pretty strong 7-2 majority. Having already determined in recent decisions that there is such a thing as an inalienable right to privacy, deciding in favor of abortion rights was a no-brainer. The state has no power to get inside your body. From 1973 to 2022, that was the law of the land, and rightfully so, until now. When you look at Alito's draft opinion overturning Roe, you see that he doesn't address this legal context at all. Pretty much he just stands on the notion that because the word abortion doesn't exist in the Constitution, there can be no abortion rights. Yeah, the best thing I can say about that is that it is profoundly simple-minded. You think that he would at least address the Warren Court, acknowledge that there is a strong argument there, but no, he just leaves it hanging. Typical conservative move. Abracadabra, it's gone. Quick aside, the so-called originalism doctrine conservative justices use to dismiss modernity doesn't exist in the Constitution either. I mean, the Constitution doesn't mandate how you're supposed to interpret it, you know? I mean, at least the Bible tells you straight up it's the Word of God. Our Constitution does no such thing. Originalism is just some shit conservatives invented, and the arguments they use to justify it are a sick joke, as if philosophically freezing the nation in time in what conservatives imagine to be 1789 is somehow rational. You know what else isn't in the Constitution either? Judicial review. That's the Supreme Court power to determine whether a law is constitutional or unconstitutional. It was decided in Marbury versus Madison back in 1803, and if you take these fascist jurists at their word, they should just recuse themselves from all cases. Originalism says that they don't have the power to make such decisions. But that doesn't matter, because conservatives know as well as you and I that originalism is bullshit aimed at nothing but repressing the perceived enemies of conservatism. And because the right to privacy isn't specifically mentioned in the Constitution either, they're going after that next. As amusing and empowering as it is to see the no uterus, no opinion feminist memes online, this first conservative move, dismantling the right to privacy's crown jewel, a woman's right to have an abortion, it's only the beginning. The conservatives are coming for everything. Birth control, marrying the person you love regardless of race or sexual or gender, sexual orientation. The entire right to privacy is on the chopping block. Police searches, etc. Then, once they've gutted the right to privacy, they will neuter the freedom of speech. They'll put religion in the schools. They'll arrest and prosecute journalists. The Bill of Rights, without which we cannot do democracy, will simply be a document without teeth or meaning. This is about all of us. This is about the whole country resisting fascism. This is about men and women alike. It's about white supremacy. It's about good versus evil. Literally, no exaggeration. Motherfucking good versus evil. Things are going to get a lot worse sooner than you think. I'm Ron Reader, and this has been Ron Reader Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reader, again next week for another episode of Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I am placing links in the text box below the YouTube screen on which you are now viewing me to my three-part series on abortion that I did a few months back. It's episodes 70, 71, and 72. The first installment, I talk about why we need to talk about abortion and how there is literally no scriptural support for it, nothing in the Bible. The second installment, I talk about the meaning of the rape and incest exception, and in the third part I meditate on the meaning of millions of fake dead babies hitting liberals and women over the head. We need to talk about this shit more than ever, publicly, loudly, and aggressively. The conservatives got nothing, and when you confront them, they will show you their jugular and be ready for you to slice it. Rhetorically speaking, of course. So watch my stuff and take it to the streets.